Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where an officer pulled a black man over for a very minor license plate issue, then walked up to him with his gun drawn before pulling him out of the car and tasing him. In January 2020, a man named Crawford was driving around New Braunfels, where he lived, and suddenly noticed a patrol vehicle behind him with lights and sirens switched on. He continued driving for a minute or two in an attempt to find a suitable place to pull over and park, as he knew that the officer was about to conduct a traffic stop. Note that it's always advised that you pull over as early as possible, but also in an area where it's safe for both the driver and the officer. So Mr. Crawford did just that, but Officer Caleb Meyer somehow thought that he was fleeing. The entire incident was captured on body cam.
209, go ahead.
It's going to be a dirty plate. I believe it's George Edward Robert 0 Sam Adam. Again, George Edward Robert 0 Sam Adam. We're going to be on 35 South northbound Crawford, coming up to the quad turnaround. I'm behind him, lights and siren, not acknowledging, speeds of 60. White Pontiac.
Received. That plate comes back to a 2009 Pontiac, white in color.
That's clear. It looks like he's finally acknowledging. We're going to be taking the 46 South exit.
That's clear.
Go ahead and start me a second if you got one available.
Now, as heard in the footage, Officer Meyer was pulling Mr. Crawford over for a dirty license plate. Let's understand this offense and verify whether an officer can conduct a traffic stop in such a scenario. As per the law, having a dirty license plate in New Braunfels, Texas is considered a misdemeanor offense, carrying a fine-only punishment without jail time, provided it is not done knowingly, like intentionally altering the plate. The maximum fine allowed under such circumstances is $200. So, judging by this, it's obvious that this is a very minor offense, and if the dirty license plate was unintentional, it's typically unlikely that a driver would get fined for it. Keeping this in mind, let's continue to the footage and watch how Officer Meyer dealt with such a small issue. Really quick, before that, did you notice that Officer Meyer initially wasn't wearing a seatbelt and only wore it after a minute of speeding?
That's clear, 215.
Past Courtyard Marriott, coming up on RBFCU.
Received.
Pulled in Texas Med Clinic.
Received. Hold on, Texas Med.
Ma'am, move. 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 Put your hands on the wheel. Put your hands on the wheel. Put your hands on the wheel. Both of them. Put the phone down. What is your problem?
Please don't sue me, officer! Please don't sue me!
What is your problem, dude?
Please don't sue me! Please! Please! Please!
Stop.
You don't
Get
talk
out.
to me like that, bro!
Get out. Get
I
out.
got a seatbelt on.
Take it
I
off.
got a seatbelt on.
Take it off.
You told me to keep my hand on the wheel.
Take the
You told
seatbelt
me to put my
off,
hand
or I'm
on the
going to
wheel.
cut it off you.
You told me to put my hand on the wheel. Can
Take
I put
the
my phone
seatbelt
down?
off.
Can I put my phone down?
Put it down
Can
like
I
I
put my
told
phone
you.
down?
Put it down.
I can put it down.
Now.
You're not gonna shoot me.
Put it
You're not
down.
gonna shoot me.
Put the phone
I'll put it
down.
down. You just tell me if you're not gonna shoot me. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Please do not cut it. You will buy it. You will buy it.
I've ordered you to step out. Out.
I'm getting out.
Get out.
I'm getting out.
Get out. Get on the ground.
I'm not getting
Get on the ground.
For what?
Get on the ground.
66, your return.
For what?
On your face.
For what, sir?
On your face.
Andre
Get on your
Morrow,
face!
Eligible on a class Charles DL. Restriction Adam is like
I'm on the ground.
All the way! Hands
I'm on
in
the
front of
fucking
you!
ground. What the you want me to do?
Stop!
What the am I doing?
Stop! Lay out! Face down!
I'm down.
All the way!
I'm fucking down.
221.
As ridiculous as it sounds, Officer Meyer stepped out of his patrol vehicle and immediately unholstered his pistol before walking up to Mr. Crawford and pointing it directly at him, while repetitively ordering him to put his hands on the wheel and get out of the vehicle. Terrified of what was happening, Mr. Crawford pleaded with Officer Meyer countless times not to shoot him. He also made sure that he complied with the officer's commands and didn't make sudden movements. Eventually, Officer Meyer yanked Mr. Crawford's door open and pulled him out. Note that police can't order a passenger out of the car for several reasons. 1. Legitimate safety concerns. 2. Reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. 3. Evidence of a crime is in plain view upon approaching the vehicle. Obviously, none of these reasons could be applied to Mr. Crawford, as this was a traffic stop for a misdemeanor offense, and he certainly didn't appear dangerous to anyone. Quite the opposite, actually. Despite knowing that Officer Meyer was abusing his authority at that point, Mr. Crawford agreed to comply and went down to the ground. But things took a turn for the worse, as you will now see.
What are you doing, man?
Last name, Lana. First name, Alexina. It's going to be Adam Lincoln Edwards, X-ray Ida Nora Adam, 3/19/2001.
What the are you doing, man?
PD 209, 1 detained, roll EMS, drive stun deployment.
1 detained 1759.
Stop, dude!
I ain't doing a fucking thing.
What's your problem?
I ain't did shit. What the you mean? What is my problem?
Why
You
did
just tased me.
Why
For
did
no
you so
reason.
long to stop?
I'm not stopping on no fucking highway. I've been here. What you talking about? I pulled over when it was safe. That is the motherfucking rule. And if you want to tase me because I took so fucking long, that is your fucking problem. I hope you know I got all this recorded, right?
So do I. I got a body camera.
Uh-huh. I bet your body camera is gonna prove your mother gonna be suspended.
You got me that car, Charlie.
What the fuck are you pulling me over for?
It was for a dirty license plate.
A dirty
I
license
can't
plate.
read it.
What does it say then? What does
I
it say?
guessed, and thankfully correctly.
You a goddamn guess lie.
Still a
That Jerosa.
Great. Still a violation.
How the is a violation? You just seen a fucking nigga in the car and you want to test your fucking nut.
Stop.
You.
Stop.
That's exactly what just happened.
The Mora, she's clear.
Cow motherfucker with a badge. You tased me because I got a dirty license plate. Are you fucking serious?
You refused to follow
I
my
didn't
orders
refuse to do shit.
numerous times.
I didn't refuse to do a bitch ass thing. I made sure I wasn't gonna get shot because yo came to the car with a gun. I refuse something.
209, if they're not already, can my cover step it up, please?
They're running code.
Howard, motherfucker, boy, you are.
Unit full channel 1 for 209 call. All units.
Can you please get your hand off me, officer?
No.
I ain't going no way.
Not till my cover gets here.
Thank you. Fucking cold, man.
All right. Can we stand you
No,
up
shut the
without
fuck
this
up.
getting
Shut the
ridiculous?
fuck up. Get the other officer. I don't want to talk to you, man. Get the fuck away from me.
Got them, man. I got it.
Thank you.
All right, just relax, man. All right.
I'm relaxed, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you. Can I please stand up?
We're gonna go ahead and sit you down. How about that? All right.
I can't sit down. I've been working all day and I have fucking
All right.
cramps. Please get out of my car, sir. Get away from my car.
Relax. You back down for any weapons?
Not
I
yet,
have
no.
a knife.
Okay.
Right side.
I appreciate
Please get away from me.
it. I got it, man. I got it. I appreciate it.
Can I just roll? Can I just roll? I'm gonna roll to my left.
209, any additional units in Florida?
Three, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
1, 2, 3. Alright, go ahead. Better?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright.
You a coward, bro. Only reason you stopped me was because I'm black.
I can't even see you, man.
You a mother. I ain't got no tit. How the you mean you can't see me? You came right beside me and you pulled behind me.
Hey,
I knew you was gonna come.
chill out, Clint. Chill out.
Fucking coward.
Yeah, you can open the channel.
I'm sorry, man.
As seen in the footage, even though Mr. Crawford complied and went down to the ground, Officer Meyer decided to pull out his taser and drive stun him multiple times. And what's unbelievable is that Mr. Crawford was told the reason for the traffic stop only after being placed in handcuffs. His reaction was definitely justified because he was pulled out of his own car at gunpoint and then tased just because of a dirty license plate. This was obviously an excessive use of force. First of all, Officer Meyer approaching Mr. Crawford's car with his gun drawn violated the police department's protocol. Secondly, while the use of a taser by a police officer is legal in Texas, it must be used in accordance with the guidelines set forth by the manufacturer and the police department. According to the taser guidelines, the use of a taser should be limited to situations where there is an immediate threat of physical harm to the officer or others. We've already discussed how there was no immediate threat of physical harm to Officer Meyer, but completely opposite to that instead. Let's hear what Officer Meyer had to say to his fellow officers who arrived at the scene.
All units, channel 1 is open for regular traffic.
I refuse.
All units, channel 1 is open for regular traffic. Channel 1 open for regular traffic, 1803.
Oh, I'm gonna pull him over for that dirty license plate that I can't read.
Yeah, right.
I guessed after being behind him for like 3-4 minutes, and like I think it's that. Guessing right. I was behind him license siren from before Seguin exit. So I lit him up before Seguin. He rolled past it, kept going, hit the siren, kept on going. Finally exited here, but then he missed a whole bunch of driveways while I'm running behind him with my siren on. So I got up here, pulled my gun, and he's jacking around with his phone and stuff. Like, put your hands on the wheel, and then it was all, oh, it's because I'm black from there on, screaming at me. Wouldn't take his seatbelt off, wouldn't drop the phone, wouldn't.
So uncooperative.
Uncooperative. I finally get him out and tell him get on the ground, and he won't get on the ground. So I just pulled my taser in the back of his knee twice, and finally he flattened out. But he was trying to push up, and
Yeah. You got to talk to him?
yeah, I had my knee in his
Have your broadcast have the location?
so
Hurry up and get
46, 1035, inbound on 46.
probably, as long as I was behind him.
Color, Nissan Sentra, don't be on the
Driveways
passenger
is
side.
east. I think I'm about to arrest him for a looting. I'm gonna run it by the sergeants first just to be sure, but I mean, he didn't even acknowledge until we were like,
So y'all started from Seguin, right?
I lit him up just before the Seguin exit. Had he wanted to, he could have safely taken Seguin. Could have safely taken, yeah. Could have taken the quad turnaround exit too, but he passed it and came up here. So I ain't buying this whole, I pulled over where it was safe. That's too late for that.
Just make sure you tell the sergeant there's a bunch of other safe places.
Yeah, oh yeah, none of them.
Marriott, this right here.
Yeah.
So, and he passed the river.
Yeah, he passed. So even if, let's say, Seguin wasn't safe or he didn't want to take it, fine. But he missed the quad turnaround exit. I'm behind him with my siren on. I mean, that's going to be, he's going to go for a looting, I think. So.
Can I say anything? I'm telling him, can I take my seatbelt off? He talking about, take your seatbelt off, take your seatbelt off.
He's asking while I'm telling him to do it.
Last unit SF725 on the line. It was a white unit. Mary King X-ray.
So y'all just wanted us to remove the taser? Y'all wanted us to do an
He's not
actual
even
assessment?
got probes in him. I just drive stunned him. I put it in the back of his knee and gave him a little, I think about a 2-second and then another probably 5 seconds.
So he doesn't have a probe in him?
No probes, no nothing. Just protocol is when we deploy it at all, we have to call y'all.
Okay, so is he in custody?
He's detained minimum right now, but he's probably going to jail.
Okay.
As we've heard, Officer Meyer was planning to arrest Mr. Crawford for looting, which is simply ridiculous. We mentioned how it's a common practice to continue driving to find a safe place to pull over. It's even generally accepted by law enforcement, as long as the driver does not continue driving for an unreasonable amount of time or distance. In fact, the Texas Department of Public Safety recommends that drivers who are being pulled over should activate their hazard lights and pull over to the right side of the road as soon as it is safe to do so.
That knife in his pocket the whole time too. He didn't pull it on me, thankfully.
So when you went towards or towards the driver door, did you do anything? Or just...
He had his hands down, and then he had his phone in one hand and the other one kind of down. So I started giving him commands to put his hands up, and then he wanted to yell and scream and be ridiculous. And don't shoot me on black, don't shoot me on black. I'm like, bro, I don't care. I'm just trying to get some compliance here, so I can figure out why you're eluding.
Right.
So by pilot. So I picked him up there, kind of was like, hey, I can't read that. Let me see if I can read it. Took forever, I guessed. I got it right, but I had already lit him up when I guessed correctly.
Okay. No, I mean, it looks unclean.
I think he needs to go to jail for eluding, based on how long it took him to stop, because he's playing this. It's all because I wanted to be safe. I just wanted to be safe. If he missed, at minimum, one full exit and several driveways.
Clearance, Walter
and did not
Crawford
acknowledge
Jr.
until he was exiting.
Yeah, that license plate at 50 feet.
No, I mean, seriously, I was behind him for
about half the distance right here.
4 minutes trying to guess what that license plate said.
Okay. Have you ever had any dealings with him in the past?
No idea.
Okay. All right. So,
to my knowledge, anyway.
Eluding and then resisting arrest, search, and transport?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. All right. But you're good.
As per the Texas Transportation Code, Section 545.421, a person commits an offense if the person operates a motor vehicle and willfully fails or refuses to bring the vehicle to a stop, or flees or attempts to elude a pursuing police vehicle when given a visual or audible signal to bring the vehicle to a stop. This was what the officers were planning to charge Mr. Crawford with, along with resisting arrest, which also made no sense. We already discussed how the Department of Public Safety makes it clear that you're allowed to proceed to a designated location for stopping when being directed to stop by a police vehicle.
Okay, so just knock your PC affidavits out. Listen, don't worry about, a lot of times I remember when I was a young police pup, I would start to second guess my decision making and start to do all this craziness. Listen, let's focus on how we move forward. Based on everything you said, I would definitely understand the reasons why you took the actions you did. So don't second guess yourself, right? Just make sure that you take your time, review your video, be articulate in the way that you write. The arguments that you gave me earlier, those are valid arguments. The guy's taking a while to pull over, okay? He's had several opportunities to do so. The way he parked I could understand from your position. My job is not to get into your head, right, and try to figure out exactly what you were thinking. I try to base things on kind of remove myself and be as objective as I can. And so I would definitely understand why you would have taken the actions you took. It's just a matter of making sure that you review your video, be articulate in the way that you express how you felt at the time and why you did what you did. You will never have any problems in this job. Okay?
You need to take custody of my taser, don't you?
Download it, yeah.
Lincoln Mary X-ray 1236, Lincoln Mary X-ray 1236.
I don't want to take
Ultimately, it was reported that Crawford was arrested that night, charged with fleeing from a police officer and interfering with public duties. Those charges have been dropped at the request of the police department, those charges remaining pending for 9 months until a prosecutor filed a bizarre motion that faulted Crawford for being overly dramatic while simultaneously asking a judge to drop the charges. Also, after being released from custody, he learned that he lost his job shortly after police arrested him. Not to mention the injuries he suffered, including bruising and pain from the taser. Eventually, on April 2, 2021, Mr. Crawford filed a lawsuit against the city, its former police chief, and Officer Mayer who pulled him over. Mr. Crawford's lawyer said he was subjected to excessive force, wrongful arrest, and illegal search and seizure that violated his constitutional rights. The lawsuit notes that Mr. Crawford's car did not have tinted windows, so Officer Meyer could have seen that he was a black man, implying racial profiling. Officials said after the incident that Officer Meyer was initially given additional training and then put back on patrol. Officer Meyer voluntarily resigned several months later. He was never placed on administrative leave, and there was no initial internal investigation because Officer Meyer's actions were viewed as a training issue. The footage has already been used as a training tool for other officers, the city manager said. He added that he is proud of our police officers, but I do understand that there is always room for continued education and improvement. Fast forward to 2023, it was finally reported that the city of New Braunfels will pay $175,000 to settle the civil rights lawsuit. Be sure to check out our previous video where we cover another outrageous police encounter.